Next, we're talking about this types of cost. Do you guys have heard of variable cost, fixed cost, total cost?
Yes.
How many people don't know this? Okay, great. So you don't know it? Did you take economics class? You're in the economics class. In your economics, you talk about variable cost, fixed cost, and total cost. Let's take an example. Maybe if you start to sell milkshake to LIU students, you need to buy a milkshake, and you need to have the milkshake machine. The milkshake machine, it will cost you, let's say, $3,000. Okay? So a $3,000 fixed cost. You have to pay it. You make one milkshake, two milkshake, million milkshake, $3,000 you pay it. Fixed cost. Variable cost will depend on how many you produce. So if you produce 1 unit, you need to pay the vanilla, sugar, cream for that one milkshake. If you make 10, you need to pay for the 10. Milk, cream, sugar, water. That's a variable cost. So it will depend on how many you produce. Total cost is the summation of both. So fixed cost is any cost that do not vary with production, like rent, heat, interest, executive salaries. You have to pay the salaries of the executives, whether you make 1 or 10. You have to pay the chef, whether you sell 1 pizza or 10 pizzas. Variable cost, that's the cost that will vary, like the packaging. Every milkshake needs a package, so the package cost will depend on how many you actually sell. And the raw material, which is the cream, vanilla, and milk. Total cost is the summation of both. Do you guys remember this curve from your economics? The U curve. Remember? That's the short-run average cost. Basically what the average cost says is as you produce more, the average cost per unit decreases until you reach a level and then it starts to become more expensive. This comes from economics. We in marketing just believe them. Okay? They have their good reasons. And the idea is if you produce more milkshakes, then every milkshake will be, on average, less expensive. Because remember the 3,000? The fixed cost, you need to divide it by how many you produce. Do you see? So the more you produce, your fixed cost per individual sale will be less. And of course, so it keeps decreasing. But you reach a level where, it's going to be too much. You have to buy another milkshake machine. So that's when cost starts to pick up. Here, we've got this cost as a function of production experience. The idea here is your cost per unit, maybe it is $10 if you produce 100,000 units. But as you produce more and as life goes on and you become more experienced and expertise, your cost starts to decrease. So that's another factor. So maybe it's okay if we sell cheap and it costs us high, but after a long while, we're going to be able to pick up on our costs. And then we've got the cost plus pricing. Cost plus pricing, it's a pricing strategy where cost plus adds a standard markup. Do you guys know what's a markup? It's like the profit margin, how much markup you want. Some companies, they have a markup of 50%. So if this will cost them 100, they will sell for 150. If this will cost them for 1,000, they will sell 1,500. You see? And the benefits of this pricing strategy is that sellers are certain about the cost, prices are similar in industry and price, competition is minimized, and buyers feel it's fair. So when the buyers see, okay, it costs you 10, you sell it for 12, okay, I will buy it. They think it's fair. Plus, it's keep it easy for the competition. But the disadvantage is that it ignores what demand and what competitors' prices are. Do you see? So sometimes maybe it's not the best strategy. Let's see, other major pricing strategies is the break-even analysis. Anyone knows the break-even analysis? The break-even analysis is a price at which total costs are equal to total revenue. Do you remember you took this in your maybe managerial economics or managerial math? Yeah. So break-even analysis is, remember the milkshake machine, $3,000? Let's assume that you sell milkshake for $11. and every milkshake will cost you $1, and you sell it for $11. So how much profit you make on every milkshake? $10. Now, how many units do you need to sell milkshakes to recover the $3,000 investment? 300. Do you see? If you sell 300 units, each unit will give you $11 minus 1, $10. So that will be 300 multiplied by 10. That's going to be the $3,000. So you know, if I sell 300 units over this year milkshakes, I will cover my milkshake machine. Do you see? So that's the break-even analysis. And then target profit pricing is when you say, if you want to make profit of $1,000 from the milkshake, how many do you need to sell? 300 only?
No.
More. How many?
400.
400. If you sell 400, you're going to sell them 400 multiplied by the $10 you make on every milkshake. That's 4,000. 3,000 is how much you paid for the machine. 1,000 is profit. You see? Now this is just an example here. You know, this show you here how many cost in $1,000, and here is how many units in thousands. Now, of course, these are just hypothetical numbers, but you know, this show you this curve here, what we call total revenue. Now, this curve will be, you know, how much you sell. If you sell 0, you make 0 revenue. If you sell, 10, you make 200, and so on. So this is the revenue curve. Now, this is here what we call the fixed cost. Now, fixed cost, that's how much you paid for that machine, right? So that's a fixed straight line. But of course, we don't want fixed cost. We want total cost. And total cost is basically this line plus the variable cost. And the variable cost is this increase here. So this is going to be the total cost, which is both variable plus fixed. So here is your total cost. Now this point here, where they intersect, that's going to be your break-even point. Okay? So you can do it on graphically, and you'll find how many units you actually need to sell in order to break even. Okay? All right. Now next we've got this idea of competition-based pricing. Do you know what is competition-based pricing?
Doctor,
that's when you look at the competition. So if the competition are becoming very cheap, then maybe you want to lower the price. If the competition is expensive, then maybe you can increase your prices. So you set prices based on competition, cost, prices, market offering. And then consumers will base their judgment on the product's value, on the prices that the competitors also charge for similar products. Are you guys okay with this?
Yes.
All right, great. So we'll see.